Hey guys, we are going to be working on this butterfly fillet, and I wanted to show you how to count your chains. This is 90 stitches across, so therefore you double your 90, so 90 times 2. Now also you need to look, is your first line here, your first stitch, you always start from the right to the left, is your first stitch a solid block or an open block? Now I do all of my fillet in one color. It looks like two colors, but the dark ones are the closed blocks. The light color is the open block. I believe on my pattern I have this as red and white. Let me see if I can get some better light here. Okay, so here we have our first block is going to be closed. So that means that you add 3 chains. So we're going to do 90, which is how many blocks we have across, times 2 plus 3. So that gives us 183 chains. Okay, so I have chained already. I've just done mine in pink because that's what I had out. I have chained 183 chains, and my first row here, as you can see, is all closed blocks. Every one. That's why I have done double crochet. Your closed blocks are always double crochet. And now actually line 1 and line 2 are double crochet. However, because I don't have a whole lot of time, I have skipped line 2 and I've only done 1 line. So I am now on line 3. So line 3, let me write this down right here. We have line 1, 2, and 3. And the directions we're going in. Okay, so line 1 we went from right to left, line 2 from left to right, and now we're on row 3, so it's right to left. So our first 2 squares are solid squares. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So always when you're going to the next row, you are going to chain 2 and you're going to turn your work. Now also what I forgot to tell you is that even though you have chained 183 chains, when you get to the end of your double crochet, you are only going to have 180 double crochets. Make sure that you count it. This chain 3, the extra chain 3, it does not count as your first double crochet. You will chain in the 4th chain, you will do your first double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook, but it will not count as your first double crochet. That is just going to bring your stitches up to the height that you need. So you will see there's 90 stitches here, so you will double that and you'll have 180 total. So what we have done now is we have chained 2, and this chain 2 does not count as a stitch either. So now we have 2 closed blocks. A closed block consists of 3 double crochets. Now we don't count this chain up. So we're going to do 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, and 3 double crochets. Whoops. Now, if you look at the first one, I know that it looks like 4, but this is only because we had to chain up 2, and that does not count as our first double crochet. If you count that, you're going to get off count. Now, if you know a different way to do it that you prefer, of course, you can do it any way you like. But this is just the way that I learned and the way that I'm going to teach so that we don't get confused. And I'm not going to teach several different ways because it would confuse everyone. Now, this was our first block. Okay, and I told you that, first I'm getting off of the light, aren't I? I told you that each block is 3 double crochets. Now that being said, the last double crochet counts as the first of the next block. So it's like we already have one block done right here for the next one. So we only have to do 2 double crochets for the next one. So there's 1 and 2. Okay, now let's look at our chart. Okay, now we have done these 2 solid blocks here, and now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 18, 28, 38, 48, 58, 68, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86 open blocks. Now the way that you do an open block, now remember this last block, this last double crochet counts as your first double crochet for the next. It doesn't matter if it's a closed block or an open. So here's your first double crochet, and to make an open block, it's a double crochet, a chain 1, skip 1, and a double crochet. So that made your first open block. And we'll do another open block. So here's your first stitch for your next open block. You do a single crochet, you skip the next stitch, and you do a double crochet into the next block. Into the next stitch. So here, what we have from the beginning is 2 closed blocks and 2 open blocks. Now this looks, you don't count this one on the end because that's your turning stitch. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for your first 2 closed blocks, and then your 2 open, because you have to count the last stitch for each block counts as the first stitch for the next block. So I'm going to go on down and finish all of my open stitches until I get to the closed ones, and then I'll be right back.